At just 37 years old, Ibrahim Traoré stands as one of the world's youngest heads of state. His journey to leadership began far from any spotlight in a modest village where red earth meets the vast African sky. Before the world knew his name, before the titles and responsibilities, there was simply a boy running barefoot on dusty paths, dreaming big under the Sahelian sun. This is the inspirational early life of Ibrahim Traoré, a story of humble beginnings, family values, and the forging of a leader. The story opens in Kayra, a tiny farming town nestled in Burkina Faso's Muhaum province. Here on March 14, 1988, Ibrahim Traoré was born, the son of a community that lived by the dawn and dusk of village life. His family's means were simple, rooted in traditional values of hard work and togetherness, the kind of humble background that instills humility and resilience from an early age. Growing up in the late 1980s and 1990s, young Ibrahim's childhood unfolded against a backdrop of change in Burkina Faso. The nation was still echoing with revolutionary ideals from the not-so-distant era of President Thomas Sankara, ideals of self-reliance and national pride that lingered in the atmosphere. Narrator thoughtful in the evenings, under a blanket of stars, elders would recall stories of past heroes and struggles. In these tales, the seeds of patriotism and Pan-African hope were quietly planted in Ibrahim's heart. Despite the challenges of rural life, limited electricity, water fetched from wells, and the nearest city many miles away, Ibrahim's spirit thrived. He helped his family with daily chores, learning responsibility and empathy as he did. Neighbors in Kayra remember a polite, inquisitive boy who listened far more than he spoke. Even as a child, there was a calm determination in him, a quiet confidence that set him apart. When it came time for school, Ibrahim embraced the chance to learn. He attended primary school in Bondokwi, the local district town, walking for miles on school days with an eagerness to absorb knowledge. He quickly proved to be an excellent student, often finishing at the top of his class. Teachers noticed something special. The boy from Kayra had a focused mind and a gentle demeanor beyond his years. As a teenager, Ibrahim took a brave step, leaving a small village for the bustling city of Bobo Dioulasso to attend high school. Bobo Dioulasso, Burkina Faso's second largest city, was a world away from quiet Kayra. The streets bustled with vendors and motorbikes, new languages and ideas. For Ibrahim, it was an exciting new chapter, but also a test of adaptability. He lived modestly, concentrating on his studies amid the city's noise and energy. Classmates and teachers in Bobo would later recall that the village boy remained quiet and very talented, a young man of few words but strong potential. His quiet nature masked a fierce determination. In the classroom, he let his achievements speak for him. With every exam passed and every book read under the dim glow of a kerosene lamp, Ibrahim was shaping his future, one lesson at a time. In 2006, Ibrahim's quest for knowledge led him to the heart of Burkina Faso, the capital city, Ouagadougou. He earned admission to the prestigious University of Ouagadougou, a milestone that made his family and hometown swell with pride. Leaving home yet again, this time for the nation's capital, Ibrahim stepped onto a campus brimming with ideas, debates, and youthful ambition. He chose to study geology, delving into the science of the earth beneath his feet. Perhaps this field appealed to a young man whose roots were in the soil of a farming village. In any case, he approached his studies with the same quiet diligence that had defined him all along. University life in Ouagadougou opened Ibrahim's eyes to a broader worldview. It was not just about lectures and labs. It was about understanding his country and continent's place in the world. He proved to be as brilliant in higher education as he had been in primary school. Professors noted his analytical mind and tireless work ethic, and within a few years he was excelling in his coursework. Ibrahim graduated with honors, ranking among the top of his class. The boy from Kayra had shown that with hard work and education, even a humble villager could shine on an academic stage. But something deeper was stirring in Ibrahim. during these university years. Beyond academics, he sought a purpose and community. He became an active member of student associations, where he could give voice to his principles. Notably, he joined the Association of Muslim Students, reflecting his faith and the values of compassion and discipline he'd grown up with. At the same time, he did not shy away from the arena of ideas. He also became involved with the National Association of Students of Burkina Faso, ANEB, a Marxist-leaning student union known for its activism and calls for social justice. This dual involvement was striking. Ibrahim moved easily between the mosque and the debate hall, between prayers and protests. It showed a young man who could embrace different viewpoints, united by a common thread, the betterment of his community and country. Within ANEB, Ibrahim rose to the role of student delegate, representing his peers in discussions with university authorities. He quickly earned a reputation for defending his classmates fiercely in any dispute. If a fellow student was treated unfairly or a policy seemed unjust, Ibrahim would be the one to respectfully but firmly speak up. Narrator passionately, these moments, a young man standing tall for others, would become a defining feature of his character. In the dormitories and cafeterias of Ouagadougou, Ibrahim Traoré was honing qualities that can't be learned from books: courage, integrity, and a deep sense of justice. By the time he held his degree in hand, Ibrahim's worldview had expanded. He had seen the struggles of ordinary students and villagers alike, from the dusty lanes of Kaira to the crowded lecture halls of Ouagadougou. He understood that Burkina Faso, like many African nations, faced challenges that required educated, principled leaders to solve. The ideals he absorbed from his faith, from revolutionary history, from student solidarity, all merged into a personal mission. Ibrahim was ready to serve something greater than himself. Looking back, it's clear that Ibrahim Traoré's early life was a foreshadowing of the leader he would become. Certain traits and moments stand out like signposts on his road to destiny: quiet determination. In childhood, he was soft-spoken, almost shy, yet he consistently outperformed expectations. This quiet strength earned him respect without him ever seeking the spotlight. It foreshadowed a leadership style that would later value action over words, doing what's right without bravado. Academic excellence and curiosity, Ibrahim's thirst for knowledge, from village school to university, showed a mind that hungered for understanding. His academic honors were not just medals of personal success, but a hint of his capacity to grasp complex problems, a vital skill for a future head of state. Even as a student, he exhibited the discipline and intellect that great leaders need. Courage and advocacy, perhaps the most telling, were those moments at the University of Ouagadougou when Ibrahim took a stand. As an elected student delegate, he put himself on the line to defend classmates in need. These were not grand speeches on a national stage, but small, everyday acts of bravery, challenging an unfair grading policy, negotiating better conditions for students, or mediating a dispute. It was in these moments that Ibrahim proved himself a voice for the voiceless, unafraid to speak truth to power, even when it carried risks. That courage and sense of justice would later be seen on a much larger scale. Adaptability and perseverance. Ibrahim's life took him from a tiny village to major cities, from one culture to another, a journey that required adaptability. He learned to navigate city life, academic life, and eventually military life. After graduation, he chose to enlist in the National Army, answering a call to serve his country. Each transition came with challenges: homesickness, financial strain, rigorous training. Yet with each challenge, he persevered. This grit was a sign of the steadfast leader he was growing into. Each of these traits, born in humble beginnings, was like a strand woven into the fabric of his character. By the end of his youth, Ibrahim Traoré had become a man defined by integrity, empathy, and resolve. Those who knew him during these early years, the childhood friends, the teachers, the university peers, might not have predicted the exact path he would take, but many could sense he was destined for something greater. There was leadership in his bones, waiting for the right moment to emerge. From the dusty roads of Keira to the lecture halls of Ouagadougou, Ibrahim Traoré's early journey is a testament to the power of humble beginnings. He carries with him the lessons of his youth, the value of knowledge, the importance of courage, and the belief that one determined individual can stand up for many. These formative years shaped a young man who would soon be ready to answer his nation's call. In the next chapter of his life, Ibrahim steps beyond the campus and the classroom onto a new arena, the Burkina military, where the stakes are higher and the challenges even greater. But as he puts on the uniform, the world will see that the same qualities forged in his youth guide him still. The boy who once defended his classmates is about to defend an entire nation. As the sun sets on this chapter of his story, we are left with an enduring imagery, a young leader in the making, shaped by family, education, and principle, standing at the threshold of history. His early life has been prologue, an inspiring foundation for all that is to come. Stay tuned for the next part of this series, where we follow Ibrahim Traoré into the crucible of military service and the rise of a leader, seeing how those humble beginnings fueled a revolution in the making. Every great journey begins with a single step, and Ibrahim's first steps were taken on the humble soil of Keira, steps that would ultimately change the course of a nation.